Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. Today we are in the east of the Highlands, of the Scottish Highlands, at the distillery Glen Garioch. Yes, it's written Glen Garioch, but it's pronounced in Gaelic Glen Garioch. Glen Garioch in the east of the Highlands, as I said, is an ancient distillery. It was established in 1797, so it's one of the very few distilleries from the 18th century. And unfortunately, it went silent around 1994, 1995, but it was reactivated after the turn of the millennium. I don't know exactly, so perhaps 2008, 2009. And after this reactivation, there are new bottlings on the market, the Founders Reserve, the 12-year-old, and several older bottlings. And today we taste the independent bottling of the company Signatory Vintage, which is happy to have some of the old casks 1990 available in their warehouses. And the 1990 casks, which were bottled originally, went over the counter around 300 euros, 350 euros, 300 pounds, $400. They were quite expensive. And here we have the chance to taste Signatory Vintage Glen Garioch, a single cask bottling with 49.9% ABV, chill filtered but not colored, for a value around 80 euros, 80 pounds, $90, something around that. So it's quite a bargain. This particular cask was distilled on April 9th, 1990 and was bottled on April 9th, 2013. So this is one of the very few bottles where the proprietor took care of the age and said, well, we wait a few days and then we bottle it with 23 years and not only 22 years. It was a hogshead, so a cask a little bit bigger than the American standard barrels, contains 250 liters approximately. This was bottle 127 of 309. So if this cask is not available at your local dealer, don't be afraid. Signatory Vintage has more of those casks. The predecessor cask has aged only 20 years and was also 1990 bottled 2000 in the year 2010. Well, it has a different ABV, as always, as you bottle single casks. Glen Garioch was a distillery which has their own maltings, and when I visited the distillery in 1994, they already stopped producing malt on their own maltings, and Glen Garioch is part of a conglomerate of 3 distilleries under the company Morris and Bowmore. There's the distillery Bowmore from the Isle of Islay, Auchentoshan from the lowlands, and Glen Garioch as the third one. And in former times those malts went into the blended whiskies of Morris and Bowmore, but they stopped producing blended whiskies 10 years ago, something like this, and therefore they did not need the production of Glen Garioch any longer. But today the new range of the Glen Garioch original bottlings perform quite well, so they started production again. Good news. Very light for a 23-year-old whiskey. It's quite light. Pears. Light and fruity. Pears. Perhaps some peaches. And in the back, vanilla is developing. Some caramel. and a very, very distant spiciness. It might be the cask. There's no peat in it, no smoke. And there had been a former bottling, a 15-year-old with a green tartan tube around it, and this one had a slight peaty character. There had been a very young one, an 8-year-old, I think. It was not the best for me, to say it diplomatically. But the 12-year-old, oh, fantastic. And the actual ones, the Founder's Reserve and the 12-year-old, they are wonderful, wonderful whiskies. This one is very light on the nose for a 23-year-old whiskey. So the cask, the hogshead, I think was made from American oak. And this American oak is very light and not so intense in the maturation. From time to time there's an alcoholic note coming through, 49.9%, quite a lot. Have a sip. Very fruity in your mouth, quite strong in comparison to the nose. Yeah, and prickling at the tip of your tongue, but not spicy. No, there's intensity, there's a faint hint of oakiness, there's a sweetness from the fruits, and it's developing a middle to long aftertaste and a little oakiness in the back. Yeah. Oh, becoming more fruity. This is a interesting but very elegant single malt whiskey. Interesting to nose and to taste, but not strong. There are no corners in it, no exotic influences, spices or fruitiness. No, it's quite straightforward, easy to sip. And 23 years old, so it's not too expensive for such an old single malt whiskey. Thank you for watching Whisky.com. Please stay tuned, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up.